What is up, everyone? Back to work on the 1.8T swapped E36, right? It's the engine swap we're trying to prove you could actually do on a budget, because every time someone says it's a budget engine swap, it has all these hidden crazy costs that doesn't make it affordable anymore.
Every time.
The day one was the LS swap. Everyone went, oh, they're so cheap. They're always so cheap. But it was never a cheap swap to do. This time around, I think we could actually make this thing happen for a good penny. And we're trying to prove that here and then. So far, as you guys saw, we had our first major win in the last video, and that was actually mounting our drivetrain in the car. We custom made the engine mounts. They went super quick. They look beautiful. Engine fits in there great. And one of the best things about it is we adapted it to the stock BMW transmission on a super affordable adapter kit, and it allows the transmission to land in the factory location, which allows us to use factory stuff. So we're already ahead of the curve.
I think we found the cheat code here.
We're getting there. I'm being optimistic, but it's cars, and things will catch you by surprise. So far, we got this thing mounted up for super cheap, and now it's time to move on to tackling the systems, because as you guys know, when we do engine swaps, you like doing them system by system, so it feels like we're actually getting stuff done, and we could be more organized and also tell a good narrative. So the thing we want to move on today is starting to mount things, because we got to mount all the big stuff. Once we mount all the big stuff, we can connect all the big stuff, and then things get checked off the list and blah. So the thing we have to mount today that's very important is our heat exchangers. By heat exchangers, I mean we got our radiator and our intercooler. It doesn't matter what kind of car you're driving, you need a radiator. Show car, street car, whatever, you need a radiator. We got to keep the engine cool. And then since this car is turbocharged, we need to put an intercooler on here, which will then obviously cool down the air that's coming out of the turbocharger, make it more efficient for the engine. Once these things are in, we could then tackle our cooling system and then our piping for our intercooler, which is two giant chunks of the process. So we got to start off by mounting these things in the car. So when it comes to engine swaps, sometimes you have to find yourself a new radiator. Sometimes you don't have the room for it because the engine fits differently, and sometimes they're not big enough for the engine swap, and other times the outlets just aren't in an optimal location that won't allow it to fit. In our case, we get to reuse his stock style. Jordy already had an aftermarket radiator with a fan shroud, which is huge, so getting to reutilize this is massive, because I'm going to check that off the list is not having to spend money on a radiator, which is cool. I mean, it could add up, like a radiator, fan shroud, fan, it gets really expensive. And then the same narrative kind of goes for the intercooler. You got to make sure you have something that fits not only with the chassis and the engine, because things do get tight with certain engine swaps. And lucky for us, we had this laying around. This was actually the old intercooler for the E36 from many moons ago. It's up top. It's definitely too small for my E36, but for our power levels, this thing is perfect. And what's great about this is it actually works really well for our package, because we can shove this thing anywhere. Luckily for us, this engine is so small. It's way smaller than the factory engine, and it leaves us with ample room to mount things anywhere. Look at that. So obviously we have to get the front end back on the car first, because we got to figure out what we need to work around. There's so much room. This is so nice.
Could put another engine right here.
Oh, it's so nice. Because usually, like when we do an engine swap, it's usually a bigger engine than factory. So you're always trying to cram things where they just don't really have enough room, and you have to get creative. For us,
we don't have that problem today.
No, this is gonna be one of those things that you can close your eyes and just swing, and you'll probably hit the ball. You know what I mean? So we gotta figure out where we want to position these things. Factory radiator obviously will fit in factory location. We don't gotta worry about anything. There's plenty of room for it. But the intercooler, we can kind of shove anywhere. There's so much room, and obviously putting the intercooler up front is always a great option, right? It's tried and true. Plenty of room for it, puts it right front and center for all the fresh air, and it looks cool. You get to show off to everyone that you have a turbocharger, you spent some money and put some work in, and your car's safe.
Everybody loves that.
Everyone loves that. But this is a drift car. We got to think a little bit formal or function sometimes, and well, if we can get away with putting it not in the front, I'd be stoked, because there's two problems here. One, front dead center is prime real estate for an accident on a drift car. Sometimes you hit cones, you hit tires, you hit walls, you hit people's rear ends from transitioning. It's prime real estate. So if we can get this thing out of the way like we did on your car, we shoved it really far up, it will just set us up better for the future. And luckily for us, we have plenty of room in here to actually do something. I mean, we could even V-mount this thing. There's so much room. But
if we had a different radiator, I say V-mount it.
Yeah.
But since we're using the factory radiator,
and we don't need, like, V-mount looks cool, but it will definitely just make things harder to work on. So we are thinking about doing a good old JDM fashion stack and putting it right up front here where the radiator used to go. Then we can move the radiator back.
everything in front of the core support.
Everything in front of the core support. It's sick. And then it makes piping way shorter, which is sick. Quicker spool, everything in the danger zone, nice and easy. The big hurdle is just having to be creative on mounting things. And luckily for us, the factory mounts it pretty easy. So if you look, these are the factory mounting brackets. Radiator sits in here. This bracket is actually attached to the frame rail. And then boom, we gotta make sure the top is supported so it doesn't go back and forth. But this will actually support the weight of it, which your radiators might be a little bit heavier than you think. Things filled with fluid, right? So make sure you mount them pretty sturdy. So spoon, took these off, the factory frame rail. You can tell there's 3 spot welds. Just drilled them off. So they used to sit somewhere like right, really, all the way up here. So luckily the frame rail's nice and flat, so we could just take these and reattach them to the rail. Dual action cameraman.
Need 4 hands, 6 hands.
6 hands.
So, right there. Nice and even with the rest support.
That's crazy. Even with both of them stacked, there's still so much room.
How sick is that? That is so freaking cool.
Wow, piping's gonna be so short.
I love that. And there's still so much room to work on the engine, which is
This side's gotta come in a little bit. Oh, there you go.
right there. All right, awesome. Marker up.
Gotcha.
We'll measure off that side to make sure they're symmetrical. And let's get these mounts attached to the rail. That's a good old-fashioned body man trick, using self-tappers as like a temporary spot weld to hold into place.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Do we really need the welder on?
Yeah, honestly, like
I think it's fine.
3 self-tappers would probably last. I'm not saying do it, but if you don't got a welder,
That'll be fine.
yeah. So all you need is a drill bit and a couple self-tappers and you could just move these mounts, which is kind of sick, but maybe weld it. We'll test fit. Well, there we go. That looks so cool, doesn't it? It fills out the engine bay nice too.
We've talked about doing this for so long, putting them both in forward.
It just looks so sick, doesn't it?
So many S chassis, but you do it on a BMW.
Yeah, we got straight 6 space, we're gonna use it. It's your dog, you put her down. You got it.
I know, I'm good. I'm good. You can do it.
Flat burn,
Not
flat burn
stressing.
paint. You know, make sure the weld you ain't.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's an old man
That was
one.
good.
There's a couple other. You come on, you're from Kentucky. You got some good ones. Let's hear it.
You put me on the spot right now.
Ever did a plug weld? Start in the center, let it start to heat up, spin her out. You got that? Yeah, don't walk it too fast. Walk it too fast. Let the heat build up in the center, thicker metal. Once it starts to smush, then you kind of. That's my DIY heavy with plug weld. Yeah.
Let me put down my girl drink.
Clock in, baby.
God damn, Jim was wearing this thing. Big head.
Big man, big man.
Big head. Whew. Show Spoon how it's done real quick. I don't fucking know, guys. Coming for your job.
Jordy, you killed that.
Thanks, guys.
Killed that.
I don't need me around here.
Look at that. OEM mounts, baby. Radiator is now mounted like OEM. We've seen some top brackets. Before that, we have to put in our intercooler. So, mounting intercooler is important. A lot of guys will mount them half-ass and they'll just have the piping hold in place. Mount your intercooler well because it is heavy, it is bouncing around, and you don't want that thing to move, and you don't want to look like a chump when your intercooler is like sideways when you're pulling off track. So, luckily this thing isn't too big, and it looks like it'll actually sit very similar to the height.
It's flat with the bottom of the rails.
Is it?
Yeah, you can literally run a flat bar all the way across.
That's sick. All right, well, there's no reason to overcomplicate it. Might as well mount it like OEM, right?
Yeah.
That's sick. Look at that. Is it really that level with the rails?
Yeah.
God, that is so convenient. That's actually sick, because front mounting E36s, as we both figured out, there's like no good places to mount them.
Nothing to mount it.
There's no, because it's all flimsy metal up front.
I forgot what I mounted the E36 one on. I think it mounted all the bash bar.
Yeah, we end up going to the bash bar, because sometimes you can mount them to these, but these aren't the sturdiest things ever.
already holes on the bottom of the rail too. Nice.
The universe wanted it.
Rev
The
nut.
universe wanted it.
Rev nut, flat stock.
Rev nut.
How flat that is.
Right now, that's perfect. That's literally just flush with the bottom of the rail. That's so good. Sturdy test.
Gotta say it.
That ain't going nowhere. That looks so sick. So what's nice too is when you have a straight six, you don't have a lot of room for an electric fan between the engine and the radiator. So a lot of guys like to utilize the clutch fan because it's kind of your best option, but if you don't want to do it, it makes putting a big electric fan on your engine tricky. Having a small electric fan causes, well, heating issues. So luckily for us, now we have all the room in the world to put as big of a fan on as we want. It's a drift car, so it's gonna get a lot of use. You can't put a big enough fan on them. Chase Bays sells like a whole line of juicy high quality fans. You guys know we're not a fan.
I'm not a fan of wimpy fans.
I'm not a fan of wimpy fans. You cheap out on a fan and you're gonna feel it, which sucks. So getting the Chase Bays, beefy old girl here, I don't think we'll ever have cooling issues with this, which is really nice. So that's a huge plus. So now we just gotta make sure that these things aren't kind of flopping around. So I think we got pretty lucky because Jordy put these rib nuts in prior for the little plastic shield that goes here. So I think we could just make mounts for this. And then the OEM mounts still line up since it's in the same OEM plane here. So we'll just make longer OEM style mounts. Let's get more flat stock. To make things a little simpler, Spoon made it all in one piece versus to have two different sets of brackets, so that just slips in nicely. And then boom, it's all just one system, which is nice. This looks so sick. I'm so hyped on this. It's crazy how like getting these two in the bay makes the swap look so much more complete. Like we're gonna get the intercooler piping done, and you're gonna be like, all right.
Just needs a tube.
Just needs a tube. So what's nice is we have this big ass radiator that's meant for a straight six, and now we're gonna be utilizing on a 4-cylinder. So we have plenty of cooling in this, but we have this big juicy fan that's not only gonna help pull air through the radiator itself, but mixed with the fan in the shroud, we'll be pulling a lot of air through the front, which should help pull air through the intercooler itself too, so we don't have to worry about heat soaking. Since the air will always be moving this way, we don't have to worry about any of that hot air moving forward into it, so.
Can we turn it on? I want to hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice, you were ready.
I was ready. I wanted to show him. Jordy. Oh, making sparks. So it pulls
through the intercooler too.
Yeah, it's so nice. You can just feel how much air is pulling through the intercooler and the radiator, which is amazing. So, like, if you have a radiator setup where you think, like, say we had an LS in here, and we were worried about cooling capabilities of it, maybe that's where you think about maybe not stacking your systems so you can get even more air through the radiator. But since this radiator will be plenty for this engine setup, we're able to sacrifice kind of a little bit of the path of the air by putting the intercooler in there. All right, so now that we have our heat exchangers bolted up, it's time to connect it to our drivetrain. The exciting part about this is intercooler piping. I love intercooler piping. It could be a pain in the butt, but what's cool about it is it makes your project look so much more complete. Like, it really puts you in that stage of like, what's up, man? Isn't this thing ready to run already? Brings it all together and it gives you that turbo drivetrain look that we all love. So of course what we have to do is we have to connect the ends of our intercooler, one to the throttle body, and of course one to the turbo outlet. We have the throttle body all set up right now. It's a little bit weird because our new intake does point it at the tower, but we do have plenty of room to snake a coupler in there. We did, however, see a guy, he makes a billet adapter that actually changes the angle of this and it pitches it more forward. It's like 170 bucks or something like that, but we got enough couplers sitting around the bin. I think we'll be able to make this work. With enough scrap aluminum laying around and a spoon, we can get this all connected up. One thing I was really surprised about, and Jordy's not here, I'm gonna make fun of him for, is a blow-off valve. He actually wanted a blow-off valve.
I love that.
I was very surprised. Because we did a blow-off valve on your car.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how like, it might be time we're bringing it back, right? It's like been long enough for people hating on blow-off valves. It might be cool again.
We're gonna put one back on your car?
No, I'm good for that. But Jordy wanted a blow-off valve because he wanted open wastegate. He's like, I want open wastegate on one side.
He's gonna have all of the noises. Wastegate, blow-off valve, and flutter.
And he'll be screaming like a girl too, so it'll be perfect. We had this laying around. This was upstairs, I guess. It's cool. It's good. Everything has been laying around. The couplers, piping. This is pretty sick. So
Yeah, all the piping is all the leftover stuff from your car.
And then we have like this giant bin of couplers. I don't even know how I've acquired it over the years, and we just happen to have all the couplers. Besides this one, I had to order this. This was a 60-degree bend. It's kind of an awkward one. You spit on it first, or what? Come on.
I did not.
Hark to. That's sick, dude. I love intercooler piping. It just looks so sick when everything's connected. So while Spoon works on the intake side, we're gonna work on the exhaust side. Now this is a very important piece of the swap because with any turbo engine, your turbo really defines the power band probably more than anything else. You could argue with cams and all this stuff, but when you pick your turbo, you're picking how much power you want and where you want it, and that's what's gonna dictate your size, and obviously engine displacement, all of that. But for us, I knew that Jordy wanted a solid hitting 350 horsepower. That's his goal. I know that might sound a little wimpy to you guys, but you will see that it'll be a very fun, very balanced, very aggressive power band in a car like this. Given the tire size that he wants to run, given the weight of the car, and given his driving style, it'll be sick. This is probably gonna be your first expensive part of the swap, depending on what you do, because turbos aren't cheap, manifolds aren't cheap. It's kind of ridiculous. If we were just talking about it, I was like, we'd bitch over like a $3,000 SR, but then your turbo in your hot side is usually more than that, and you don't even think about it. There's a lot of great options out there. We could use an OEM KO3, KO4. Those are fairly affordable. Use that stock manifold. Even we saw there's a lot of hybrid Chinese versions of turbos, and you could even use a 2-liter TSI engine turbo with a slight modification, which a manifold turbo in one kind of is a 2-for-1 package. We'll put a picture right here, which is a great option. But I wanted to set Jordy up for the future, and I wanted to give him something good. So I spent the money and got Jordy his very first Garrett turbo. It's pretty. They're pretty, and the good thing about Garrett's, we just know they last forever, right? That was a big thing. At first we were talking about Pulsars or something, or if you get a knockoff turbo. He was happy with it, and I was like, no, let's just spend the money and get you something that's gonna actually last, because I want to set Jordy up for, well, the future. So what we have here, this is a GTX 2867 RS, or 60, I think it's a 67 now they call it. It's cool. It looks like very similar to like a G25. It's just a little bit on the smaller ends. This will put us in that really nice hard-hitting 350 horsepower band, and I think on E he'll be able to make 4 if he wants to. It keeps the package small and keeps it pretty, and I mean, look at Garrett's just look expensive, so he's hyped. So the big thing is how we're gonna mount this to the car. Turbo manifolds, they all fit differently, and a lot of these are fit to be on an all-wheel drive car or on, well, a front-wheel drive car. Most of them are for the front-wheel drive car, at least the cheaper ones are, which puts them in a weird spot. So what we found was this Timu R-Tech.
It really does.
Yeah. This is a full cast stainless manifold. It seemed by pictures that this would be the best fitting for us. It's cast, it's nice, it has the Garrett flange, it has an external wastegate form so he can make all the noises that he wants with the dump tube, and this was 300 bucks. $300 stainless cast manifold. You can't really beat it. I think this thing will last really well, and it looks like it actually has some pretty big runners, so it actually looks like a pretty decent design. It's just really kind of bulbous. Doesn't look kind of crazy. We've been waiting on this part for a little while now because we are super worried about fitment, right? Because we don't have a lot of room. Once we rotated the engine into like this OEM position, we lost a lot of room for the turbo, right? I mean, it shrunk our whole area here. Like we said before, most E36 guys stand up the engine straight, but we are utilizing it in kind of the OEM position, which most chassis utilize, and we kind of shrunk our room. So turbo options get a little bit, well, stricter. It looks cool though. Like the gate fits really nice here. It lands nice. It doesn't look super weird.
does look like a Temu ass Artec.
Yeah, doesn't it? But it's actually stainless though, it's not spray paint. For 300 bucks, it's kind of hard to argue, you know? We know this is gonna fit, so I'm gonna take our first win. Little Turbo Smart 40 mil gate on top. It's adorable. Perfect. It looks cool. It looks like a nice little fancy bit on top. We love the Turbo Smart gates. They're really compact, they work really well. They've always done us really well, so. Jordy will have his external wastegate dump. He'll be able to make all the noises. He's pretty stoked on that. Now, we have been stressing this for probably a week and a half now. We've talked, how many times have we looked at pictures of turbos? We've mocked things up and been like, God, I hope this fits. Like, this is where it gets tricky. So V-band manifold, we went with the V-band hot side, which is nice because usually the V-band hot sides are smaller, especially if you're running like the external gate, it makes it way smaller. Now the hard part is, we hit the frame rail. We are so close. Look at it. Look how close that is. We are probably 10 mils away from it actually fitting, no matter which way unless we rotate it crazy, but then we have no room for the downpipe. So in a perfect world, this would sit here. It makes like the budget swap look kind of expensive. And this is where everyone's just like, freaking YouTubers, they did it again. The YouTube buddy, they make it look all expensive. But to be fair, we weighed way too many options. And to be fair, stepping out of any OEM option, the price kind of got ridiculous. And that's what happens with any swap. You're not going to avoid it unless you do an eBay turbo, which you're cool with. That's sick. But you're rolling the dice there. Sometimes they're mint forever. Sometimes they blow up right away. And I don't want to do this Jordy. I want to set them up for success. Really wasn't much more to go with the Garrett. I think the retail on these things are like 1,400 bucks. But that's not too bad for a complete bulletproof turbo. Obviously, like, you can get a Pulsar version for like 700 bucks. Do what you must, boys. I've seen a lot of guys with just stock like KO4 options, TSI to KO4 options. They have a ball with these things. Hard hitting, but you're gonna max out probably around 300 horsepower, which is cool, which is still a really good time in this car. So, guess what? We gotta modify this, but it's stainless. We could weld the stainless. This stuff is thick. Okay, so if we can kick the turbo more towards the engine, we should have enough room. Only thing we gotta worry about is the engine mount itself. So I cut a slit through it and we're just gonna bend it at an angle and see if this is just enough room to actually make it fit. If it is, then we'll figure out a solution to fill up this gap. If not, we might have to cut the flange fully off and just fully reposition it. Nope, not enough. Wow, we need this in at like a freaking big angle, huh? Yeah, we might actually have to cut the flange off and put a couple pies in there. But you know what? We can keep bending it and see what happens. Dude, it's so, like, if this flange was just in, like, this way, 10 mils, this manifold will be perfect for this swap. Okay, let's try that. Ooh, ooh.
Closer.
Ooh. It is getting closer for sure. Now we're getting real close to this engine mount. We can shave a little bit off of it. This is like the smallest frame Garrett we can get to. Like, he really surprised me with that blow-off valve.
Why?
I just didn't. I thought he would be a turbo splitter kind of guy. You know what I mean? You never know what your friends are into.
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't want a screamer pipe. I would have saw Jordy for a screamer pipe kind of guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Out the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that time he doesn't have to have any painted flames. It'll be actual flames. Oh, it's so close, dude. Yeah.
Thick shit.
It is thick. That's how we like it. No, just shut up. You know what I mean?
Something like that.
Something like that. Let's put it somewhere. Luckily we had a flange laying around, so you know what I mean? Just weld it right back on. It's perfect. If this was right here, it'd be perfect.
That close.
Do with that information what you will. You know what I mean? If you didn't care about flow, you know what I mean? If you're at home with a big welder, stainless core, put it right there. Fill the gaps.
I bet it'd still make 350 doing that.
It'd still make 350. Let's see, how much room do we have to play with? Okay, so the engine mount definitely is a little intrusive. We really couldn't have made that any lower though, so. I mean, really, if we can get the turbo there, it'll fit incredible, right? And then that is basically like one pie cut. Ah, the turbo drain, I gotta think about that. Ruh-roh. We'll use this as a reference, that's all I can piece together. It works. I mean, that's it right there. Back and in like that, we should be good to go. Sits a little funky, but should do. Cool. Does it look cool from that angle?
Oh yeah.
Sick. Alright, so we're gonna do our first cut rough. And then we're gonna tack it onto the flange and just see how much we have to grind away. I'd rather cut too little and have things to grind away than just go kind of crazy on the first cut. That's it right there. I think we're there.
I feel like the foreman today. Where's your clipboard? Is this straight, guys?
Oh, right there, there it is. There's a sweet spot. That's it right there. Quick little tack, make sure it fits still. Looks pretty cool. Worst case scenario, we have to remake this engine mount, which isn't a big deal. Just because we wanted to put the turbo in first before the engine mount, but we just have time constraints here. So right now, we're away from the rail, which is good. Downpipe's in a good location, but our cold side is getting very, very close to our engine mount, and we could still move this. Worst case. Let's see. Does it look crazy or does it look cool?
Oh, it's pretty damn cool. Are you happy with that? Yeah, I'm happy with that. It looks sick.
Okay, I know we have to kind of cork it in a little bit just to kind of clear the mount and the starter, because we got to make sure the starter will fit down here, which it will currently, but unless the manifold actually sat up higher, there's not really much else we could do, because it does rotate down a little bit. I mean, this is...
You're overthinking it. That looks sick.
Does it look cool? Yeah, I mean, it's Jordy's car. As long as he's happy, I'm happy. So.
It reminds me of the RTEC setup on the hatch.
Yeah, where it kind of rotates it up and down, so we have just enough room for the turbo drain, got enough room for the intake. Cool, that is sick. Let me get the wastegate. Let's get the full packaging.
The Fartec kind of goes crazy. Fartec. Fartec.
Fartec?
Fartec.
It fucking, that's a snug fit. I'm happy we got that to work, but...
Jordy, we doing screamer pipe?
Bro, you should take that and go...
Out the fender?
Right out there.
No.
Yeah, that's dirty. Yeah.
Out the hood?
Straight to the ground. Now's when you decide to get boring? Come on.
You don't want actual flames out of your hood?
That would fit the vibe.
No, let's keep it a little classy. We'll keep it...
Yeah, right to the ground.
Okay, look at it, dude. It's like, it has a different aura now. Like, this swap is cool.
I keep saying it gives me like late 80s, early 90s DTM vibes.
Yeah, it looks normal in here.
Yeah. Strangely.
Might want to weld your flanges on first. Imagine trying to get in there after it's welded on.
Yeah, smart move. It's like you've done this a time or two.
It's gotta, anything with fabricating is thinking 10 steps ahead. Tuck this back in, back purge it, weld her up, and we're good to go. No, this isn't my first time I cut up a manifold and modify it. I remember back in the day, took a B-Series eBay ram horn manifold, cut the flange off, and MIG welded a single cam manifold on it. Went up to Waterbury, whoop everybody with that single cam. Green single cam hatch from Hartford. If you know, you know.
She is officially glued together. It actually looks somewhat normal, which is really cool.
I gave it 2 good passes.
Yeah, so it blends in nicely. It's sick. Same size opening too, which is cool. Plenty of flow, which is great. If you are using the adapter kit that stands the engine upright, instead of it at the OEM angle like us, this manifold will work really well for you, right? Then you don't have to worry about it being kicked out like that. I think this is a carrot top manifold. It's like $300.
Yeah, cheapest one you can get.
Yeah, but it actually seems like a really nice piece.
Welded really nice.
Yeah, it's good. That says a lot. So this is just about where the turbo's gonna land. Like I said, we kind of cock it this way to get the drain out of the way of the mount, and then also gets the downpipe kicked away from the starter, which is good. Less heat and more room to actually access the starter. So now we have to connect our output on our turbo, which is this piece right here. So this has to go to here. Go, baby. I suck at snapping. Can you do it for me? Thank you, magic done. So if you have any specialty couplers that aren't easy to find, I always suggest just ordering another one and throwing it in your track bin. So this one's a little bit of a weird coupler because it's such a big step up, but it'll be fine. Jordy's old intake from the M50. Perfect fit. If we can get this like actually set up like get a skinny long one, that'd be kind of sick. But it's away from the fan, which is cool. That looks so freaking cool. In this short span of time, it went from looking like, okay, it's fitted in there to like, oh wow, this is something. The worst part about this stage is it makes it look like it's so much more done than it is. But it's a really, really good mid-build motivation, as you guys know that I love that. Because I mean, like I was stoked on the swap before, but now looking at it like this with everything kind of plumbed in like this, it's like, wow, this is something. It looks right at home. It doesn't look very foreign to the chassis.
It looks very natural.
It looks very natural. It is so freaking cool. Are you hyped?
I can't talk.
The best is when you come in the next day. Like tomorrow morning when you walk in, you just gotta look at it and you're like, wow. Like it hits so much different. Like this is cool. The aura of this car is changing so rapidly. And like I've seen 4-cylinders, turbos and stuff in E36s, and they sometimes look foreign, but this just looks normal and it looks right. And I'm really, really pumped about it. Like it really looks like it belongs in here. We're a little far off, but I cannot wait to see how this thing drives.
I know, me too.
Like this power band, this power level, where it's positioned, the weight, everything is gonna be so freaking cool.
It's gonna boogie.
It's gonna boogie. So we knocked some major pieces off of the list for this engine swap. As you can tell, it looks insane, but we still have many to go, so stay tuned for the rest of it. So far, this was probably one of the more expensive costs of the whole build, and that is purely because of the turbo itself. But like we said a million times before, there are a bunch of different options out there. Your wants, your desires, your needs, whatever you want. For us, I figured this was our best balance so far. I'm really stoked on this. I'm happy we just went with the Garrett.
And realistically, the cost is still obtainable.
The GTX series, the GTX 28s are definitely the cheaper of the Garretts, which is good. And of course, there are other turbo options out there that you could utilize. But no matter what turbo swap you're doing, that turbo price is going to be the same. So we can kind of just, I don't know.
That was one of the things that we wanted to
splurge on a little bit, all right? Our whole objective here is to try to put something together that's pretty special, that actually makes sense to the average person. And so far, I think we're doing pretty good. So, any other last words on this one? Big guy? Big dog?
Like I said, dude, I can't talk. I'm so excited to see it come to light. I guess the best way to put it.
All right, so we're gonna end the video now because if we just leave it open, it's gonna be me and Jordy just gawking at this thing for the next 20 minutes. But for now, I hope you guys are excited. You guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. And Jordy?
See you on Thursday.
See you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday.
Close it out.